This is where we're going. Cinemateca Eforie, the old vintage playhouse. This is what we're going to see.
Too often.
Oh, grown up yet?
Hope so.
It's a big girl. Hey, Johnny!
Yes, sir. Yes,
Go
sir.
ahead, go ahead.
La, 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 la. You're gonna miss me, baby.
Oh, that's awful. Look, can't you hear that?
Yes, I know. Will you go away, please? We'll get it.
You want to hear how it really goes?
Sure.
Move over.
You better be good.
These cards is you. All right, boys. You take the pickup with the horn. Make it nice and slow and easy. First up, you watch for the brakes. Ready now? Here we go.
Hey crew, welcome to the Spiritual Social. I'm Lexi, your local lightworker. I'm a tarot reader and an astrologer. Today I have prepared a pick-a-card reading for you in which we will explore the shadow self. This is one of my most requested readings and most useful. A lot of you have found my shadow work readings to be deeply intense but also very helpful. So thank you so much to all of you who liked my videos and subscribed and shared the shadow work videos I previously have created. This one I thought I would create an update because it's 2024. It's been a while since my previous shadow work reading, and to be honest, I recently started cleaning in my old paperwork and I stumbled upon some Montessori images. I have here a set of playing cards, Montessori images, to help with a child's object formation and the development of their mind. As you guys know, I am trained as a teacher, especially working with small children and young people. So I have this past of having a lot of teaching materials, and when I cleansed through them, I found this Montessori pack, and it's replete with animals who have, as you can see from the choices I have here in front of you, you see the conscious energy of the animal. You see the animal as it is in full color, but also the surprise is that these cards come with a shadow. So for group 1, for example, I have here the crab, and behind it is its shadow. So as you can see, there is the conscious energy and the aspect that is hidden, the form that contains all this darkness. We have the octopus for group 2. For group 3, we have the stork. For group 4, we have the lion. For group 5, we have the bee. And for group 6, we have the giraffe. So I thought it would be wonderful to give you a choice of animals, and I thought it would be even better to do a shadow reading since these animals come with shadow cards. It's going to be a really beautiful exercise in trying to integrate what you are aware of about your personality and those aspects of yourselves that you're trying to repress, that you're not comfortable owning up to, that you're running away from. Most of the time in our shadow, we put a lot of our negative emotions. We are socialized from a very young age to repress our anger, to show only a smile and to be pleasant, to be kind. We are putting other feelings which are deemed bad into our shadow, such as anger, sadness, depression, melancholy, yearning, desire, all of those things that society considers to be taboo or you shouldn't display them in front of other people are placed in our shadow. And it so happens that from time to time, astrologically speaking, the transits of the planet Pluto and Saturn bring up shadow aspects of ourselves up to the surface so that we are able to become aware of them, so that we may get comfortable with our negative, darker feelings in the process of becoming a whole, completely integrated human being. Astrological transits and the natural development of ourselves as a soul in this incarnation has little to do with societal norms. So this is why this is not a reading about what you're doing good or what's bad about you. These are judgments of morality and we should do away with them. This is all about feelings, emotions. Saturn is, at the moment when I'm filming this reading, crossing through the emotional, soothing sign of Pisces. It is bringing up in society, because Pisces, ruled by Neptune, represents the collective society, what we deem as a web of interconnected souls that are building something together. And when Saturn is limiting, is cutting off these energies, it's putting us each in our own apartments, in our own houses, in our own area, kind of isolating ourselves from other people so that we can each do emotion work, so that we can each focus on how can I express my feelings, because as a society, due to the rapid pace of basically everyday life and to the increasing technologization of society, we have been a bit too strongly attached to the idea that we have to be rational and positive and productive, and that's all you need to be. But at the same time, we moved a lot of the energy that we should be given to understanding our more negative side, our sadness, our anger, our disappointments. We moved it in a black box, and we're not opening that black box. And the more we're not opening that black box, the more it grows, like the mythological image of Pandora's box. And then by the time you want to open the box, it's so large, it's so huge that it has the potential to overwhelm you mentally if you don't break down the elephants into small chunks and deal with each negative emotion, each weird state, each moment of depletion and tiredness as it comes along. Building your shadow and understanding it, breaking it down into parts and processing it makes you a stronger human being. It makes you less capable of being vulnerable to the manipulation of other people. Energetic vampires will stop feeding off of you. It makes you less easily manipulated by other individuals. And it also makes you feel happier. It gives you more energy. The shadow has so much energy wrapped inside of it that when you're not dealing with your negative emotions, accepting them, acknowledging them, you're feeling depleted, drained, lacking in vitality. You don't feel creative anymore. You don't feel horny or full of desire for somebody anymore. You're just like a zombie walking through life, because life is not only about winning, success, productivity, rationality. That's one side of it, the side that we see in these colored cards, the one face of the animal. But as the Montessori cards gorgeously depict, there's also something deeper behind. There's also this dark font behind us that we need to pay attention to. So the next time when you go outside, maybe after you watch this reading, have a look at your shadow and stop. Try to ask it something. What do you want me to know? How can I get to know you and integrate you? And then just wait. Wait for an answer to come up inside of you through your intuition, through the inner voice, that voice that is connected to the divine, that is helping you grow as a soul in this lifetime. It's going to be a fun exercise. I hope that you guys will enjoy it. I'm not saying these things to scare you in any way, but it's just a way for me to share with you a part of my own self-development as well. I recently started therapy again because Saturn is very strongly crossing over my Mercury. It's getting ready to cross over my Sun as well. And it's been bringing up a lot of repressed emotions that I've been also blocking. In the Love and Light community, everybody wants to be inspiring, everybody wants to be positive, but growth sometimes takes you through the muck. It takes you through the trenches of your soul. Sometimes you have to go into the underworld and knock on Hades's door. You have to allow him to kind of thrash you a little bit emotionally so that you can rise up to the light again. Otherwise, there is no real growth. There is no reality to who you are as a human being. You're just a poster. You're just a smiling advertisement, a toothpaste commercial. And we don't want to be that, right? So it's not about repressing your feelings. It's not about saying positive affirmations all of the time. That's one part of you becoming closer to the divine and embodying this light and aligning yourself to the grid of energy that is creating a lot of positivity into the collective. But sometimes we also have to make friends with what lies in our unconscious. And it takes courage. And because the North Node is currently in Aries, I thought, okay, let's do a deep dive. Let's dive straight into our unconscious today. With this reading, I'm going to help open up an issue from your shadow zone. And then it's up to you to take whatever you hear and do some homework. Do your inner shadow work. Do your emotion work. On my website, The Spiritual Social, and on my Patreon, I post a lot of additional methods in how you can heal yourself, how you can work with herbs, with plants, with breathing, with movement, also with food, in order to heal yourself. Because you guys know that, food, movement, healing work, the healing work that we do here with creative methods, tarot, runes, astrology, all of these things contribute towards healing ourselves, healing our hearts, so that we may become whole again, so that we may shine from our light, but also from our darkness as fully integrated human beings. Okay, so as I was speaking, I hope this is a little bit longer, but I hope you found it useful. I just wanted to give you an introduction so you know what we're doing here. As I was speaking, I hope that you had a look at these animals, fish, species, insects, birds, and you're just feeling especially drawn towards one of them. If you feel drawn towards more than one, go ahead and make that choice, because I feel that there may be two emotions, two themes that you need to work on. And I hope that this reading is going to give you food for thought, and I hope that it will make you sleep better tonight, as your unconscious is going to make love to your consciousness and hopefully get you to integrate something powerful. You guys have been messaging me since Saturn entered Pisces about how can we work with our emotions, how can we heal pain that we feel in our bodies. And one way to do it is to do shadow work, to use tarot cards and oracle cards, and in this case Montessori children's cards, in order to dive deep into that part of yourself that you may struggle to actually get in touch with. Before you jump to your reading, I want us to do a collective exercise together. A lot of you have been messaging me as well, letting me know that you're a little bit frustrated. You keep hearing that you need to do inner work, you need to go within. But how do we do that? Well, first of all, you do it by just grounding yourself, so placing yourself someplace stable. You can lie back on your bed, on your couch, or on a chair. It's good to lie or sit. It's not so good to stand, because you may get dizzy or you may experience certain emotions coming over you. But it's important to just close your eyes so that you shut out the primary means through which we focus on the exterior world, our eyes. You shut your eyes so that the inner eye, the place in between the two eyes with which you see, activates. And then, of course, once you have shut your eyes, you're grounded, you're someplace comfortable, you focus on your breathing. Because the breathing, wow, and the music switched the moment I focused on my breathing. I got goosebumps. So we entered the next stage, guys. You see how immediately things change as soon as we go within, yeah? So you focus on your breathing, and here's a little exercise that helps me out. For those of you who are a little bit more fidgety, more rational, those of you who have very strong Mercury or Uranus energy in your chart, I'm speaking to you, Geminis, Aquarius, Virgos. You may want to count backwards from 20 all the way up to 0, and imagine yourself descending a spiral staircase into something unknown. It could be a cellar, but you don't know how the cellar looks like. All you know is that you're on a spiral staircase and you're walking, you're descending it normally, and you're counting backwards. So we could go 20, 19, 18, 17. So you're going deeper. Every time when you're saying the number, you're focusing on your breath as well, and you're going deeper on that spiral staircase that goes inside of you. 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And the place where you arrive can be very personal to you. I am usually descending the spiral staircase, and I like to imagine this medieval castle spiral staircase, and it's leading me towards kind of like a shell cave-like structure in the ground. I have a dark black blanket, and I nuzzle inside of it. I just get very comfortable, and it's almost like I fall asleep. And that's how it feels, at least how I imagine that it feels inside of my soul. And from that shell cave structure that makes me feel very safe, I start to talk, or I start to whistle, or I start to hum, or I often do some chakra chanting. I say, for example, Aum, Yam, Lam. It could be whatever I feel like it in that day. I sometimes visualize things, imagine them. So try to practice this exercise as often as you can until you get the hang of it. It could feel very strange the first time you do it. It may make you laugh, but I promise you it's so worth it. And now, because I've made this presentation a little bit too long, I am aware that this is precious information, but also that I don't want to take too much of the time. I hope that you found this exercise useful. Again, continuously think about your breathing, shutting down your eyes, counting backwards as you descend the spiral staircase into you. And I hope that this can help you get into the practice of kind of getting to know your soul, making friends with your soul, feeling like you're communicating with yourself on a daily basis, keeping in touch with who you are. And now, all this being said, let's go even deeper. You are inside of your soul, you've descended the staircase. Let's see what we can find in your soul related to your shadow. If you have chosen either the crab, the octopus, the stork, the lion, the bee, or the giraffe, I'll meet you at your pile and we'll dive together into the contents of your shadow. Don't worry, you're not alone. This is not supposed to be scary in any way. I hope it's going to be interesting, and I hope it's going to help you fall in love with the many various aspects of who you really are. Let's get into it. Hi Group 1, welcome to your shadow work reading. We're going to dive deep into an unconscious part of yourself and bring out a little bit of the muck that may reside there. I hope that you haven't skipped over the introduction. I know it's a little bit lengthier, but I describe a little bit the cards I am using and why I have chosen them, what this reading's purpose is, and also I'm doing a going within exercise with the collective, which may help you. So go back and re-listen to it, and I will continue with this reading then afterwards. Come on, go, I'll wait. I'm just joking, of course. Well, welcome to your reading. This is for those of you that were drawn to the crab. So we see the crab as it is naturally. The crab knows who it is, knows what it has to do. Mother Nature has created it in a certain way for a specific purpose. The crab is doing its function. But the crab also has this darker side, the side that not many people know of, a side that some people may come in contact with almost like it's hitting them out of the blue. It's surprising the crab as well. If you are drawn to the specific spirit animal, it may be, or spirit crustacean, better said, it may be that you are a Cancer Sun, you have a Cancer Moon, Cancer North Node, Cancer Ascendant. You may enjoy eating crustaceans, seafood in general. You may enjoy being somewhere at the beach. You may live near a body of water. And I feel that you are heavily influenced by the element water. Water is all about emotions. It's all about the unconscious. And I feel like it could be related to a certain romantic issue that you came here. Something happened in your life and you're trying to make sense of it. Now, let me show you the cards that I pulled for you. So we have here card number 40. And you see the hourglass? This is the energy of time. Okay, so I can already pick up on the fact that Saturn, the planets of limits, effort, and time, could have something to do with your problem. We see here number 12, and this is the god Tezcatlipoca, the god of night, war, education, and temptation. Okay, number 22, the grandmaster number of cooperation, relationships, union. And we see here, I won't cry for you. So you may have recently gone through a breakup, or you are in a connection that's making you miserable and you're very close to breaking up with the person on your mind. I can see that this is a painful breakup. It's not easy at all. Ubuntu. This is the word for humanity, the universal language as well that connects us all. Number 34, compassion for others. Wow. Goddess Hecate, illumination. This is a dark aspect from the deep, dark, and dangerous oracle. We see here number 21. I'm saying the numbers because for some of you out there who love numerological interpretations, you have the numbers 40, 12, 22, 34, and 21. You may even try to play the lottery with these numbers. Who knows? Maybe you'll win something. So let's see right now the tarot cards. This is from the Dancing in the Dark Tarot, specifically chosen because it's a deck that immediately when I saw it, I didn't like it. I had a problem with the style, but the fact that I didn't like it was already speaking to my own shadow aspects. What was bothering me about it? Why was I irritated? So the more I sat with it and I thought about it, the more endearing it became to me. And now I use it for shadow readings and it's excellent. So again, this is another exercise in which I'm sharing part of my experience to help you understand a different way of looking at things you don't like or things that irritate you. The Ace of Wands. The Page of Pentacles. This is either a Taurus, Capricorn, or Virgo. The Three of Swords. Yeah. The Four of Wands. And we also have here the King of Swords reversed. So you see a couple of cards here are reversed. Let me just move the cards a little bit so you get to see them all, including the tarot. I'm going to put the tarot in a fan-like shape like this. So my love, what's going on here in your shadow? Either you're thinking of breaking up with somebody you love, or you've already done this. You had an argument, a breakup. I'm hearing some of you have gone through this over the holiday season, potentially New Year's Eve or for Christmas. And it's something that won't leave you. It's haunting you. It's giving you sleepless nights. It's making you cry. We see here, I won't cry for you. But at the same time, it's like you're trying to escape it. You're not dealing with the feelings of that breakup. And that's what's in your shadow at the moment. It's this immense sadness. Another aspect that you buried in your shadow is your fault in this breakup. You're trying to maybe project the blame on the other person instead of actually looking at how your own choices, your own actions may have led to this separation. Some of you are owning that aspect and you're aware of the fact, yes, I instigated the breakup, I wanted out, but you still have this lingering guilt, like, why did I do that? And you are going to have to cleanse yourself of this guilt because it's not helping you let go of the person you know in your heart is not good for you. While others of you who may have been dumped or who may have been at the receiving end of this pain, maybe your partner suddenly pulled out of the connection and it left you completely speechless. And the fact that it was happening during a period when the whole collective was celebrating only amplified your pain. So you try not to deal with it. You try to think, poor little me, instead of actually thinking, hang on a minute, did I actually behave in a way that may have triggered my partner to do that? So I'm not saying these things to blame you in any way. That's not at all my intention. It's just to give you some food for thought, to give you something to work with when you're processing your feelings. I feel that in this case, time is definitely needed and a clear-cut separation is desirable. Try not to contact your ex, but in your search for answers, try to ask yourself certain questions that you may feel like asking the other person. It's interesting because you got the god Tezcatlipoca, and you see him here, he's holding this mirror. And it's a fascinating story because apparently the god of the night, war, and education is holding a mirror that reflects the other person's contradictions. And in this way, he destroys his opponents. He makes them face the polarities inside of them. So it could be that you see yourself in a certain way and you completely dissociate from the fact that you may be also the opposite. You see yourself as generous, giving, kind, and loving, but you're dissociating from the fact that you could also be sometimes selfish, mean. You could also take too much. You could also be maybe cruel in the way you use your words or in the actions you take. You could be a little bit chaotic. That's part of your shadow. In your shadow lie all of these elements I mentioned previously. And Tezcatlipoca is holding this mirror up. And you have to acknowledge these feelings, because if you allow them to fester, if you continue to run away from these darker aspects of your energy, you will be defeated by the force of your unconscious. Your shadow is going to take over and you're going to start acting out in all sorts of relationships, in all sorts of situations that will take you by surprise. So, look into the mirror and figure out your contradictions. Do the work of understanding the things I am accusing my partner of. Do I do them as well? When you feel tempted to lash out and say, you did this and you said that and oh, replace you with I. And think about how it sounds. For example, if you want to call your partner, you are selfish for breaking up with me. I am selfish for breaking up with you. And just allow your body to react to that sentence. See how you feel inside. Do you feel hot? Do you feel upset? Is your blood boiling? Do you feel calm? Do you feel like you can breathe a sigh of relief all of a sudden? Focus on your body. Your body's going to give you these beautiful clues that will help you integrate your contradictions, your paradoxes. We all have them. And the fact that very soon the planet Pluto is going to enter the sign of chaos and paradox, Aquarius, well, it's going to be 2 decades of work of us integrating our chaos and our paradox. Tezcatlipoca is also a representative of chaos. You need to think very deeply about what needs to be sacrificed in your life so that you may walk out of this chaos. A minimalist approach is important for you at the moment. Discard with what you don't need. Keep only that which is important. And that action of making a decision and of wiping away the past or what is no longer useful is going to free you. Now, another interesting thing is that you have Hecate, the goddess of witchcraft and magic. A little known fact about Hecate is the fact that she also spends a lot of time in the underworld, in the kingdom of Pluto or Hades, the god of the underworld. And she used to be Persephone's guide when Persephone was kidnapped by Hades and made into his wife. Hecate was the one who helped her transition from the kingdom of the underworld to the real reality, to meet her mother. Because as you know, Persephone managed to strike a pact with Hades, and Demeter also contributed to this because she went to Jupiter and pleaded with him to save her daughter. So the pact was that Persephone would stay underground in Pluto's world, in Hades' world, for 6 months. And then 6 months of the year, she would come up to the surface level and stay with her mother, with Demeter, the goddess of the harvest. That's why we have the seasons, autumn and winter when she's in the underworld, spring and summer when she's with her mother. And the one that mediated her path, the one that is the torchbearer and helps her with her light to walk from the underworld all the way up to the surface of the earth, is Hecate. She is considered to be a propolos, or a serving energy, an attending energy. So kind of like a maiden that helps you escape from the darkness of your own mind, the darkness of your own feelings. But Hecate can also take you back. She can take you from the surface level of your reality, from the superficial concerns you may have, to take a deep dive inside of your feelings. This can be the feeling of, for example, putting your phone down, no longer looking at TikTok or Instagram, and just tuning into your body, closing your eyes, focusing on what you feel. And if you feel anger, if you feel sadness, if you feel desperation, that's an indication that you are stepping into the underworld of your unconsciousness. You're facing those feelings. And the important thing is to understand, where do these feelings come from? Why do I feel in this way? So it's not only about feeling the feeling and expressing it in some way, but it's also about asking yourself, how can I trace back the birth of this feeling in my heart? Now, I have to let you know that I am at the moment in a period in which I am rediscovering the tarot and oracle cards, and I am not beyond taking notes in order to make sure that I'm giving you a really good reading. So I actually wrote about your reading before I started it. It's not a spontaneous reading at all. This is a reading that I planned, and I feel that I have planned it specifically with the intent of giving you the most amount of information, like an educated tarot reading, you could say it is. And part of the reason why I'm retraining myself is because I really enjoy what I'm doing, but sometimes you lose the pleasure for it when you do it too often. And studying it again or diving deeper is what makes me fall in love with it again. So looking at the tarot cards over here that you have, I see that there is a new opportunity coming into your life. You are also on a path towards material and spiritual progress. I also feel that with the Page of Pentacles, you have a person in your life that is materially excessive, a wasteful person. And there's another person over here, a King of Swords. So this could be any of the air signs, Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius. This is an individual that is very malicious towards you, a person that has taken some sort of ruthless action, a man with a negative influence in your life. I feel that you're leaving behind both of these people. You may have had a choice between these two men, because as you can see here, we have one younger masculine, one older masculine, an earth sign and an air sign, and the card of heartbreak. I see here that, first of all, you may be going at the moment through a period of chaos, loss, and disorder. You feel like you have lost a dream. You may have built a castle in the sky in your mind with the person that you were thinking of, and now it's deflated. You no longer feel like you can marry this person, settle down with them. But I'm here to let you know that heartbreak is not permanent, and you are not going to fall flat on your face or feel like this most of your life. The important thing that I want you to know is that the quarrel, the breakup, could have been instigated by something unconsciously creating itself in you. Your shadow intervened and led in a way to this separation. So the situation is not actually terribly awful. It can be rescued, but you're going to have to swallow your pride and step out of your shadow aspect of the ego's energy and get back to your authentic real self, which is love. You're going to have to reconcile with somebody if you so wish. And I feel that the loss and disorder that is created in your life has been mostly because somebody has been over-intellectualizing their emotions instead of feeling them. Somebody has been too much in their mind, too strict, too rational, and it completely threw the other person back. So I feel that in your shadow lies the opportunity for forgiveness, but you have to swallow your pride for that. You will have to admit to yourself that you also contributed to the heartbreak, and you have to let go of the idea that you are the victim in the situation. You are not. Part of you contributed to the separation, and it is up to that part to apologize. Another thing that I want to say here with the compassion card, you see that this shows a maiden who puts a leaf in her eye, almost like blinding herself in order to go within. She's doing everything she can to stop seeing just with her eyes. She's starting to value what's inside, allowing the energy of other people to pull her towards them, and not just her eyes and a pretty packaging. Another part that lies in your shadow is that you could have actually gone towards somebody that was very physically attractive, but not much else, and thereby compromising a relationship with somebody that was a kindred spirit, somebody highly intelligent, and in some way better suited to you. You had a person that you communicated better with, but you may have been drawn towards this eye candy individual, and this may have led to the separation. Now take whatever scenario applies, because I'm obviously reading for a large majority of you. But I'm here to let you know that with you lies the power. With you lies the power to rescue this connection. If you're on the brink of breaking up with somebody, reconsider. Because a shadow aspect of yourself that you don't want to acknowledge is playing its part in you wanting to separate from somebody that could be very good for you. In the opposite case, when you were the dumped one, because I feel that some of you are going to be half and half here. If you are the dumped one, you have to let go of the victim mentality. You are not a vulnerable child that has been left out in the cold. You are a strong person who did not do the inner work necessary to acknowledge certain emotions, certain negative feelings that interfered with your connection and ultimately led to the breakup. A part of you was not loving itself enough. A part of you was arguing, was in conflict, and your partner unconsciously picked up on your shadow and walked away. They felt that what you were saying was not in accordance with what they were feeling was coming from you. The vibes were not appropriate to what you were saying. You could have said, I love you, but the vibes were, I want to punch you in the face. That was your shadow. So you have to acknowledge those negative feelings in your shadow, because the moment you acknowledge them, you integrate them in your conscious mind. You have to acknowledge this black, dark crab. It's not really black, it's more like the darkness, I would say, the shape. Because I don't want to attribute any judgments of values to any colors, to be honest. But it is the shape, basically what lies on the ground. The shadow is that aspect of ourselves that only shows our contour. It's not our real self. Our real self contains consciousness and unconsciousness. And understanding this is going to make you a whole person again. And it's going to improve your relationships, not only with the people in your life that you had to let go of or that let go of you, but also with you as an individual that loves herself or himself, and also with other people in your life, your friends, your siblings, your relatives. So, don't worry, because you are undergoing a rite of passage at the moment. Spiritually, what's happening to you is a massive spiritual progress. It will lead you towards increased wealth and stability. But you have to deal with these negative emotions that are created by the relationships in your life. And especially, you have to deal with the masculine. The divine masculine, the real masculines in your life, the masculine energy, the masculine archetype inside of you. Make peace with it so that you can have more fruitful, harmonious relationships with those around you. And I'm saying masculine because we have here the god of war and the night. In some cases, it could also be the dark divine feminine. If you are a man watching this, you have to make friends with your dark divine feminine energy. I'm going to end the reading here. I hope you have enjoyed it. I hope it's helpful and nourishing. I hope you can take notes maybe and begin some inner work. It would be wonderful if you would take whatever feelings this reading has produced in you and put them down on paper. Begin a journal, a dream journal, or just a normal everyday journal where you record how other people make you feel and how you feel about other people, and see where projections could happen. See where triggers come in. I promise you, this is the stuff of inner alchemical gold. If you learn how to master these things inside of you, you're going to get to the root of happiness, self-love, manifestation of wealth so easily. So it's worth it. It's worth working on you. Okay, Thank you so much, my crabby group 1. I'll see you next time. Bye. Hi, group 2. Welcome to your shadow work reading. I really hope you haven't skipped over the introduction because I explained a little bit more why I'm using these funny animal spirit cards. Also, what is the meaning of this reading? And I do an exercise regarding you getting in touch with your inner self. So make sure that you go and listen to the introduction now before you jump into the reading. Make sure to press pause on this reading. And if you have come back and you're ready for it, then let's just dive straight into it. So you were drawn to the octopus, a sea creature. You may be a water sign, Cancer, Pisces, or Scorpio, most likely a Pisces. It's interesting because the octopus and octopi in general are known for having very weak boundaries. We see here the conscious energy of the octopus. It knows who it is. And then we see the shadow, those aspects that it is unaware of, those things that some people may perceive about you, but you're not aware that they exist inside of you because you did your best to stuff them down, to not acknowledge them. So the shadow contains our darker energies, our darker feelings, everything that we often get irritated by when we see other people. Those are the things that exist inside of us as well. It's just that we don't want to face up to them. So we're going to be doing some brave shadow work today. I'll be your guide. Make sure that as you listen to this reading, maybe take some notes or just pay close attention to what sensations you're feeling in your body as I'm describing some of the cards that I will place here in front of you. That is already the beginning of your work. That is already a way in which you can tune in with your emotions and figure out a way in which you can combine your light side with your darker side. This will lead you towards an experience of bliss, an experience of feeling like you're a whole integrated person, and it has the potential to change your life and the types of people and situations you attract towards you. So it's worth it. Now, let me show you the cards that I have here for you. So we have here card number 17. And this is the card of balance, equality, and cooperation. Because this gentleman is not exactly fully clad, I'm going to cover him with my rose opal heart. There is already the theme of nudity, the theme of feeling comfortable in your own body, the theme of being drawn to other people's beautiful bodies, but maybe feeling like your own body is in some way ugly or monstrous or something you are feeling ashamed of. We have here the card number 19 from the Santa Muerte Oracle. This is the card of memory. So those things that exist in the mind as they were imprinted by emotions in the past. We make the strongest memories by experiencing the most intense emotions. Now, we also have here number 17. This is the deep card, the deep aspect of the deep, dark, and dangerous oracle. And as you can see, it shows the Minotaur. The key word here is compassion. The Minotaur has a fascinating story, but already I can feel the energy of family trauma, the energy of being made a scapegoat for the sins of the father. So we'll dive deeper into this in a second. We have here another card. Again, you see the body, and there is also the theme of sensuality, intimacy, how the body helps you attain pleasure or reject it altogether. So naked before the stars. So this is not really about a physical kind of nakedness, but this is about a soulful nakedness, being able to understand that in front of God, in front of angels, ancestors, unseen presences, you are perfectly perfect, or rather said, imperfectly perfect. While in the eyes of other people, you may struggle to fit in, you may consider plastic surgery, you may struggle to buy the best clothes, the best makeup, the best perfumes, to try to look impressive, to try to be attractive, to use a modern word, to look smacks yourself, right? In the eyes of God, you're perfect. The way you look is exactly the way you need to look in order to fulfill the requirements of your birth chart in this incarnation. God is giving you beauty, intelligence, skills, a specific set of life circumstances so you can learn at a soul level the lessons you need to learn. Changing them by interfering with what you already have is part of the process of your growth, but it is also part of the process of how you split off from yourself. So let's see. So I see here body issues lie heavily in your shadow self. Then we have card number 24, paradisiacal. You belong to paradise. So I see here an individual that is struggling very deeply to accept who she is or who he is physically. It's the relationship to your body which comes out so strongly out of all of these cards. The relationship to muscles, the relationship to force, physical strength, physical beauty. The way in which your skeleton carries your weight and the pressure you may put on yourself at times to the point where you feel like you just want to completely shut down your thinking. It's too much, it's overwhelming. Now let's see the tarot cards that you got. So yeah, we have here the Page of Pentacles. We have here the Knight of Swords, the Six of Swords, the Eight of Swords. Wow, talk about thinking, yeah? Overwhelming amount of thinking to the point where you make yourself sick, you make yourself ill. And this card I'm going to have to block again with a crystal. We see here two people, naked as well, nude, falling off from a tower. Okay, so yes, indeed, we're dealing here with the big theme of how do I exist in the body that I was given? How do I cope with becoming more attractive? How do I cope with my face, my skin, my nails, my hair? There may be some inherited issues that are affecting with your capacity to find yourself looking attractive. Not only that you inherited your parents' physical characteristics, which you may consider are not making you look as attractive as celebrities or other people you compare yourself with, but you may have inherited certain diseases, certain mental health problems, and you're struggling to cope with that. You're struggling to potentially align yourself to live as other people are living and as you want to feel like you want to live. When in reality, I think what will give you the most peace and what will help you achieve paradise, achieve a sense of peacefulness, calm, waking up to a reality that feels welcoming and comforting, is you simply letting loose of all of these perceptions and just accepting yourself for who you are. And from that point of self-love, everything changes. Everything starts to shape and reverberate. Reality around you starts to calm down. It starts to bring towards you harmony. Because the inner mirror of your harmony is going to be reflected outwards in your experiences. So the balance card, I feel here, you're looking for some sort of equitable relationships. You're looking for cooperation above anything else in your personal connections. But I feel that at the same time, you are a little bit shameful of your cultural past. With the memory card over here, you are being encouraged to dive deep into your culture, your heritage, your roots, your family. Fourth house energy is so important for you at the moment. And the fourth house in astrology deals with the roots of the tree of life, what keeps us grounded, our home, where we come from, the womb, the hometown, the family. And especially those initial feelings that we had when we were just brought into the world, when we were birthed. Now, the Minotaur here appeared, and this is such a gorgeous story of compassion. Oftentimes, the Minotaur is depicted as this evil menace, the spite of Crete. But in reality, he was a victim. So King Minos, his father, wanted to create a really beautiful bull. He prayed to gods, and he prayed especially to god Poseidon, the god of the sea, to give him a gorgeous bull so that he may sacrifice it and pay homage to god Poseidon. And out of the sea, from the island where he was on the shores of Crete, appeared a most magnificent white bull. Poseidon has given him his wish. Here, take this animal and sacrifice it in my honor. But Minos was greedy, and instead of sacrificing the white bull, to appease Poseidon and to honor him, he kept a bull for himself and sacrificed another lesser or uglier bull, one that wasn't as resplendently white and perfect. So what happened is that Poseidon got incredibly upset. He felt betrayed and cheated. And he unleashed a really awful curse on his wife. King Minos's wife was called Pasiphae, and she fell under a spell in which she fell in love with the white bull. She made love to the white bull, and she gave birth to the Minotaur, a creature that is half human, half bull, an oddity, a monster. And King Minos, not knowing what to do, he couldn't kill him because it was his son, or at least his adopted son. He created an elaborate labyrinth underneath his castle and kept him locked in there. And when Crete waged war against Athens and won, he asked for 9 of the most beautiful daughters of Athens and 9 of the most beautiful boys of Athens to be sacrificed each year as a tribute for having lost the war. So Crete was victorious, and it was sacrificing these children to the Minotaur, the forgotten member of the family, the member of the family that everyone was ashamed of. But why was the Minotaur so despised? The Minotaur did nothing wrong, it was just born. The problem was Minos and his greed and his ego. His father's sins made the Minotaur having to struggle, having to feel like a pariah, an outcast, a weirdo. In the end, as the legend says, this part is very well known, Theseus managed to be brave enough to enter the labyrinth, and helped by Ariadne, which was the half-sister of the Minotaur, he managed to kill the monster and marry Ariadne. The problem is that the Minotaur wasn't only paying with his life for the sins of his incredibly hubristic father, but it was also betrayed. He was betrayed and turned over to Theseus by his half-sister Ariadne. So the scapegoat of the family, the shadow aspect of the family, all concentrated into the image of the Minotaur, the poor monster of this entire story, who did nothing wrong except being born. So we're seeing here, from this metaphor of the Minotaur, potentially a story in the family, something that happened in your special circumstances surrounding your birth. It may have been an adoption. It may have been that you were born out of 2 parents of 2 different ethnicities or cultural heritages. As I'm saying this, I could feel emotion rising in my throat. I could feel the point of needing to release a feeling. So if you feel like what I'm saying is a little bit tough or sad, feel free to pause the video and release the emotion, release the feeling. I'm still struggling to kind of like verbalize what I'm saying, but I think it's important to push through. So, you may be feeling like you are the outcast of the family because of something that happened in your story of birth that has nothing to do with you, but it is the problem of your parents. There is a pattern there. There is something you need to dig deep at the root and figure out what happened. You may have been adopted. There may have been some traumatic incident that happened to your parents around birth. You may feel ashamed for the fact that you were born, or potentially you may have lost one of the parents, and that's a really big aspect of maybe making you feel like you have no place in this world. You may feel like you come from 2 different cultural heritages. You could be of 2 different races, and you cannot find a way to fit into society. But I'm here to let you know, my love, that there is nothing wrong with you. Absolutely nothing. Much like the Minotaur. He was just unique. He just couldn't find a place to fit in because there was no one like him. But that's what made him special. And imagine what would have happened if the Minotaur would have been treated like someone special. If the Minotaur, instead of being locked away and treated like a monster, being treated with violence and made into this flesh-eating monster, what would have happened if he would have been treated with kindness and allowed to carve his own path in this incarnation? Maybe he would have created his own unique group of people that valued him, valued this half human, half animal energy inside of him. So again, these two cards in combination, they talk about not accepting your skin, not accepting your skin color, not accepting your heritage, fighting so much with yourself, with everything that your heritage has brought into your incarnation, into your body. Your body is so important. It's a tool for healing, but you may see it as a tool for conflict because of the way that people may react to you. But keep in mind that the way people react to you in a certain way reflects the degree of self-love inside of you. So it's important to understand that you are a beautiful individual. This is your way out. This is your get out of jail card. Resolve conflict by pouring harmony inside of your heart. And I'm going to share with you a small spell or trick that you could do each day. It's called Paradise of Self-Love, and it is taken from the Magic of You Oracle. So keep a hand mirror by your bed, and every morning for 7 days, gaze at yourself in the mirror upon awakening and just say, I love you, this life is paradise. I love you, this life is paradise. If you share your bed with another, you can make your affirmation privately in another room. But be diligent and trust your goodness and innate beauty, and within 7 days, other will begin to see it too. This ritual is something you can do every day for consistent and increasing beneficial effect. So much like we like to program our minds with affirmations, and much like we would like to set intentions so that the energy can help us build something new in our life, I would like you to do the 7-day beauty ritual. Look in a hand mirror just as you wake up, just as you look, with maybe a greasy face or greasy hair, or, we all wake up looking a little bit effed up. Nobody wakes up and looks like, Sleeping Beauty. So just the moment when you wake up, when you're a little bit blurry-eyed and you're a little bit vulnerable and you've got sleep dust on your eyelids and you look a little bit messy, take the hand mirror, look in it and say, I love you, this life is paradise. And repeat it. And if there are any strong emotions wanting to burst forth from your chest, from your throat in that moment when you say this, if you feel something in your stomach rattling, allow it, allow those feelings to overwhelm you, because you need to release. You need to release the negative emotions associated with your body, with your low self-esteem, with your feeling of I don't fit in. So what? Create your own group. Carve a pathway for other people to walk through. Be the pioneer. Be the beauty leader, be the guru. Show the world how much you love yourself, and people will worship those things that in the past they saw as monstrous. Because the important thing is that you are in control here, and whatever you feel about you reverberates and attaches to other people as well. Love yourself. Don't expect love to come from other people while you push yourself down. It's not going to happen. Treat your body like a temple. Love every weird bit about you. If you have some sort of natural birth defect, love that. It's unique. It makes you who you are. Nobody in the world has that. Or if other people have it, they have it in a different way than you do. Accept yourself. We're moving towards a society that is increasingly open towards this kind of body image acceptance. Even as we are progressing towards this acceptance, a force of equal strength, the shadow, is appearing in society where people are perfecting themselves to the point of looking like robots or looking like something other than human. So these two forces coexist. Be part of the light part. Join the club of people that celebrate their freaky uniqueness. Be a trailblazer in this area. I feel here that there is also, in terms of the tarot cards energy, a fear of exploring the unknown, an insecurity, a fragility. You're putting others first, with the Page of Wands blocked here. With the Knight of Swords, I feel that you may be in a connection with somebody that aggressively courted you. This could be an air sign, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius, or a parent figure, a sibling that has some sort of mental control over you. Somebody who's domineering and may intimidate you by rushing you all the time. But I feel that if you're feeling trapped at the moment in your life and you're yearning for an escape, if you are constantly trying to make a move but there are delays in your capacity to move, it's because you're you carry with you an emotional baggage, and you cannot take this emotional baggage with you on the trip you're trying to make. I will unblock this energy for you because I want you to be able to find your inner peace. There we go. God bless, so may it be. But in order for you to travel lightly and to travel into the direction in which your soul needs to move, you have to drop this emotional baggage created by family trauma, and especially shown in your skin, in your body. In some cases, this may have been childhood SA. And you need to find a way to love yourself beyond the wounds inflicted upon your body by a parent that has used you for their own selfish pleasure. Now, I see here as well that the only way to move on is to confront your pain and regret. But there is good news, because I see that you are being slowly released from a situation that you felt tied into. There is an air of injustice here, but also of mercy. You know, the Eight of Wands is mercy as well. It shows that there is some sort of leniency with a person who deserved a tougher sentence. I see that we're ending with the Tower, and the Tower is this Mars card. It's aggressive, it's powerful, it packs a punch. Nobody likes to see the Tower card. It's usually shocking when you see it in a deck. Allow these feelings to become known. Yes, the Tower represents a sudden fall. It represents catastrophe, something being taken away from you. Yeah. The rug is being pulled from under your feet. What you thought was safe is no longer safe. But the Tower also shows you that you built something on a foundation that was not solid. Your sense of self-esteem was superficial. It was fake. It was all about exterior looks and focusing on how you can change how you look externally. But the real work of loving yourself begins from the inside out. And that is what's going to make your exterior radiate with gorgeousness. It's not going to be from the outside in. It's from the inside out. You have to work on the feelings and on releasing the emotional baggage, the judgments of value you attach to the size of your nose, to your skin color, to your hair, to your lips, to your mouth. Let those go. Because as soon as you let them go, as soon as you process them, as soon as you express them, and you forgive yourself for treating yourself in this way or for allowing other people to treat you in this way, because circumstances pushed you into this situation, as soon as you let that go, you will be able to build a new foundation on a solid footing. New revelations, fresh air, being released out of a situation that made you feel like you were living in a tomb. So welcome the change, welcome the Tower. It is pushing you, it's giving you a massive kick in the butt in the direction where you need to go. But you need to drop this emotional baggage. And I feel here a connection to a man is especially important. A man who may adore how he looks. You may have adored how he looks, but nobody's adoring you back. Because you need to begin the inner work of loving yourself and adoring yourself, so that you can walk away from this relationship with somebody who may be slightly narcissistic and claim your truth, claim your beauty. Okay. Group 2, this is the reading that I had for you. I don't want to make it too long. We go back to the boundaries that we mentioned here. It's good for you to say no. It's good for you to walk away. It's good for you to drop the baggage. Write down whatever this reading has provoked inside of you on a piece of paper. Maybe even begin a journal in which you have these conversations with yourself on a daily basis to figure out what makes you push yourself to the side? What makes you judge yourself so harshly physically? Is it just social media, or is it something inside of you at the root of your being related to some sort of family issue? A trauma that you need to acknowledge and accept so that you can release the grip that it has over you. I hope this helped. God bless. I hope you are helped and supported. It's been a pleasure for me to do this reading for you. I hope you found it healing, and I cannot wait to see you in my next one. I'm gonna leave you here, Group 2. Take care. Bye. Hey Group 3, welcome to your deep dive shadow work reading. I really hope that you haven't skipped over the introduction. If you have, please pause the reading here and go and listen to the introduction. It's important because I explain why I'm using these cards, what is the meaning and the purpose of this reading. And I am also doing an exercise with the collective, which I think might benefit you as well. So go ahead and pause this reading, listen to the introduction, and come back, okay? I'll wait for you. Okay, now if you're back, thank you so much for being here. So this is for those of you that were drawn to the Stork. Now, this is a game changer because I feel like you're a member of a different group of living things. You're a member of the aviary group, yeah? And we see here the Stork, which is normally in my culture a representative of a childbearer, the one that creates, it is said in my culture that if a stork creates a nest above your house, you're going to get pregnant soon, or you're going to father a child. This is actually quite a good omen. I feel that storks also are representative of fresh energy, the energy of spring. But in this case, we're also going to be looking at the darkness inherent within the stork. I feel like you're struggling to feel a bit more lighthearted, like life has been putting a lot of responsibility on your shoulder, like you're coming into a position of power and you kind of want to wing it. You kind of want to fly away, escape it, dissociate from the current environment. So let's dig deeper and see what the cards have for you. Okay. Okay, so we have here card number 37, the card of relationships, the card of connections with other people. So we have here complete darkness. It's a little bit creepy, but at the same time, this is representative of the void, nothingness. It's actually, in spite of the terrifying look of this card, it is the point of all beginning. It is the source of creativity, the source of all vitality. It's the darkness of the cosmos upon which the stars, nebulas, planets, asteroids, meteors perform their functions. So it's the all-unifying principle. And great Zen masters struggle to achieve the sense of void. They struggle to quiet their mind and to let go of desires to such an extent that they can achieve this beautiful state of dark nothingness. So let's see. We also have Anubis, respect. You're dealing here with the Egyptian god of death and embalming. Attention to details is so important at the moment in your life. I feel like your shadow rears its ugly head in your personal connections. By bringing up this world of darkness, your shadow is quite large as well. You may be having the transit of the planet Jupiter in the 7th house, amplifying it at the moment. Or you could have been born with Jupiter in the 7th house, a North Node in the 7th house as well. So you're needing to do a lot of shadow work in this lifetime in order to improve your personal connections and to figure out better who you are. You do this by paying attention to details, by really looking into small everyday transactions. How much you give, how much you receive, what kind of gifts are given to you, to whom do you exchange money, how much money, how many gifts, how many heirlooms. Objects are important in the connections with the people around you, as well as prestige and status, I feel. Let's see. We also have here opulence. It's time to lead. And I think we're getting closer to the theme of the shadow. I feel that you're a person that has worked steadily towards a certain goal. You always knew that you have a path, a vocation, a calling, and now you're coming into your full power. Most of you, whether you're male or female, and especially whether you are female, you're stepping into the role of the father. You potentially reparented yourself to such an extent that now you're fully embodying this incredibly opulent energy of the father figure, the provider. You may have recently come into a large sum of money. You may have recently been promoted. You may have become the boss of your own business or been gifted something important in your family line that nobody else has received. We see here the horns of the stag. This is Capricorn energy, Saturn, being blessed with a lot of responsibility, a lot of wealth, but also this is kind of making your personal connections dwindle because envy, jealousy, a sense of that should have been me lingers at the moment in your personal connections. You may be picking up on betrayal, on not knowing whom to trust. There is quite a large shadow that I'm seeing here because you got Anubis and the darkness. So this is a lot about taking a deep dive into the underworld. I'm going to move the cards a little bit over here so you can see them all. And I'll put the darkness card in the light. Yeah, so we have the game of light and dark that is helping you integrate this darkness into your conscious solar awareness. Oh my goodness, bride in a cage. Yes, so this is about living for tomorrow, putting all of your hope and efforts and dreams and expectations into one day this will happen, one day I will get married, one day I will have children, one day I will love. But in reality, this is making you feel in the present like a zombie. You're sacrificing your present for the future, a future that you may not even be able to attain, a future that is not guaranteed because, as you know, nothing is guaranteed in life and you may die tomorrow, God forbid. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but there is this possibility, right? We don't know when our time is coming. And in most cases, some of us don't want to find out when our time is coming. So there is a feeling here of you needing to be more anchored in the present. Your shadow is related to the future. You either live too much in the past, connected to the legacy of a father figure, or too much in the future. You're escaping the present. Saving up all of your resources, all of your wealth, all of your energy for the future, a future in which you project yourself as being happy, is making you feel like you're living in a cage in the present. Now let's see, we have the Three of Cups, the Eight of Wands, the 10 of Coins, yes, of course. We have the Seven of Cups and the Hierophant. Now, I don't know, I am getting this kind of surprising energy, but I do need to tell you that I've actually prepared for this reading. I even reflected and wrote some notes. I am not beyond actually deepening my readings by studying, and I'm in the spirit at the moment when I'm falling in love again with the tarot and oracle cards after a period in which my work has become a little bit mechanistic and I kind of got out of it. But sometimes when we reach a limit, we have to go deeper in order to explore it further, in order to fall back in love with it. So I'm going deeper by taking notes, by understanding truly the meaning of these cards as they were meant to be created by the people whose oracle decks I'm using. So I do feel here that the tarot cards are not showing such a dark energy compared to the oracle cards. The oracle cards, surprisingly, are much more ruthless in your reading, which shows me that there is a reversal in your life. What is meant to be happy and optimistic, or what would normally be perceived as happy and optimistic, is somehow filled with fear or terrorizing, is somehow scary. And what is meant to be a little bit more harsh or judgmental, because the tarot cards, as you know, they can be quite ruthless, this is something that you gravitate towards as something benefic to you. Your shadow is showing how you tend to depreciate certain things that may be good for you, and how you tend to vie for the affection of certain things that are harsh for you. For example, a person could treat you very rudely and could shout at you and be very mean and give you a lot of tasks and responsibilities. And you tend to honor that person over and above an individual that is tender and loving and accepting of you. You may see that person as a weakling, while the person that is being hard on you, you tend to respect them because it's like they're working for my self-improvement. But that hard taskmaster is just a manifestation of your lack of acceptance and you rejecting individuals that are seen as weaker or perceived as somehow more vulnerable or wishy-washy or sloppy or emotional. Those are individuals that would be excellent for your soul, excellent for your growth. You're attached to values that are long gone. You're attached to, like, you may not be aware of it, but you gravitate towards old-fashioned things, tradition, institutions, things that make your life feel like a living grave, like a tomb. Order, patriarchy, all these things that in some way you feel give you stability, but it's a stability that feels like somebody has just shoveled some dirt and buried you in the ground. It's maybe because you feel that your life has meaning if it's safe, or you feel you can live life as long as it is safe. But in reality, I feel you're not living, you're just here, you exist. This is not living, this is existing. Existing within limited confines. There is a beautiful world out there to explore, but you're blocking yourself from exploring it. You do have a lot of wisdom to share. And people are looking up to you in this period with the opulence card. They come to you for guidance. You should wear your success proudly and not run away from this position. Your success is well earned. You can allow yourself to be a light. You're not arrogant. You are exactly where you need to be, doing exactly what you should be doing. But in order for you to truly be this light and this leader, you have to shake off the image of maybe a grandfather or a father figure or a brother with a lot of power. Somebody who you're trying to become like, when in reality, you need to lead through your own character. You need to leave a mark of unique leadership. You're clinging on to the past. The Hierophant. This is a spiritual leader. But the Hierophant is also about looking too much at what society does. Looking to see what is right in society and what is wrong, and fitting within a specific niche, a specific role. The darkness here is about confronting the silence of awakening. Pause before an activity. Figure out deeply what your leadership style should be. Adopt it to your character, not to the character of your ancestors that are in some way. They may have had certain toxic ways of leading. They may have led with an iron fist, punching their way through the top, threatening people. The wealth that you inherited or the wealth that is coming towards you could be wealth that was gathered by exploiting other people. You have the capacity to be the reformer. You are the voice of the future generation. There is a lot of power and responsibility placed on your shoulders, but you are the one that can spiritualize the legacy of your ancestors, especially on the father side. The father is so strong here in this reading. You becoming the father, you inheriting something from the father. It's not like with group 2. Group 2 was inheriting the hubris, was making penitence for the sins of the father. Here is a father that provided to the point it hurt. A father that created something. Dynasty, an empire. Or left a spiritual legacy that is so powerful, it's singing through your blood. You can hear it buzzing in your head in the middle of the night. Relationships can pull you up to the height of leadership, but they can also drag you down. I feel that in some way you are aware of this. You are aware that the public builds you up into the superpower, but the public can also take you down, destroy your life. So that's why you're extra careful at how you live your life and how you embody the role of the leader that is either already upon you or is coming towards you very soon, 21 days from now. So I feel that the key towards out of this situation where you're kind of dwindling and always being watchful of what to do and what to say is that you need to become a guide for those who need it the most. You need to take your time, respect even those you don't like. A formal attitude is to be admired or is to be implemented. Make a plan for the type of leader you want to be and then step into your leadership abilities with confidence. You are exactly where you need to be, doing exactly what you should be doing. You are not arrogant and you are not usurping somebody's role. You are coming into your own. Don't wait for you to embody this leadership role in the future. Embody it now, but be patient with other people who are under you. Those people are going to build you up and maintain you there as a leader if you love and take care of them, if you pay attention to details. Remember people's birthdays. Remember to do kind things for them from time to time. As you delegate tasks and organize other people's environments and lives and livelihood as well, you could be responsible for other people's incomes. Also remember to see the human in them, not only the worker, the servant, the person who helps you do your job. See them as the human by your side who's helping you achieve success. And thereby, when you achieve it, share it with others. That's what's going to make you the true leader of people's hearts. And when you get into their hearts, that's where you're going to live forever. Nobody remembers somebody that just was amazing because they did certain things. I mean, history records the deeds of patriarchy, but increasingly so, more and more as we're going into this new age, it's not going to be about statues being built in the name of people that conquered lands and enslaved other populations. It's not going to be about that. It's going to be more about equality, heart, progress. So, I feel that, much like my notes are saying here regarding the situation, you are going to receive some good news regarding something in which you delayed gratification. With the Seven of Cups blocked here, as I was reading the cards before I began your reading, I felt like the Seven of Cups means you said no to temptations. You said no to a lot of things that could have given you a fast hit of pleasure. And now the reward is coming. I feel like you may get married, a change of status, as well as some sort of important professional leadership position. But you will let go of a deep kind of party lifestyle. I feel here like a reformed party animal is coming into a lot of wealth and responsibility. Like somebody is receiving their nest egg, or they're coming into some sort of wealth inherited, or it may come over you randomly. You may not even expect it. But you will be refusing a lot of the fame and fortune in favor for a letting go, a more spiritual approach to your existence. Because the Hierophant is the final card in the deck, it's a massive call, divinely orchestrated for you to make out of convention and groupthink something of your own. I feel that you're struggling so much and looking at society, how to do what's right, how to avoid what's wrong, but society is changing before our eyes, and it will continuously do so as Pluto will be in Aquarius in the next years. I don't know if you're going to watch this in the future when Pluto may be in Pisces. God, I can't even imagine that these clips may still be online. Who knows what will happen then? But if you do, I mean, that would be the wrap-up of a really important era. A pinnacle of success that is changing your relationships. This is what I see in your shadow area. And you struggling with your power. You feeling that as you are kind of attaining this pinnacle, you feel overwhelmed by this darkness. You feel like, will I become like them? Will I become like the men in power that I lived next to or I looked up to? Will I do the same things that they did? Will I rule in the same way that they did? No, I don't think so. Sorry for the weird pronunciation as well. I don't think so. I think you're going to look towards partnerships. Successful, powerful alliances are coming your way. And the way forward is to build other people up by your side, to form powerful alliances, to not be afraid of ruling, leading, and standing in your power. Lead from the heart. Always remember this mantra. I'm in my heart, not in my head. Obviously, you're going to have to make rational decisions, but from time to time, allow the heart to speak as well, because then you will know what to do. Then you will know what kind of details you need to pay attention to. But take the opportunity to lead. Stop living a life in which you feel like you are slowly mummified, in which you feel like it's all a gilded cage. This is also about letting go a little bit of your yin conscious energy, especially if you're a woman, You may expect to be wealthy by making a successful marriage to someone. But in reality, your true wealth is going to come when you step into a leadership position and become the man you want to marry. And that's when you will attract the true counterpart by your side, who may actually have more feminine qualities than you would expect. That's what I see in your shadow area. Group 3, I hope you have enjoyed this reading. I hope it wasn't too harsh. I hope this is the beginning of some deep inner work for you. Make sure to write down in a notebook any triggers or any impressions that you had. Come back and comment down below. Reflect on some of the things that were mentioned here if you feel so inclined. I cannot wait to see my next one. Take care. Bye. Hi, Group 4. Welcome to your reading. This is going to be an exploration of your shadow. Like I said for all the other piles, I really want you to have a good listen to the introduction I created for this specific reading. It's important because I explain why I'm using these Montessori Animal Cards, the meaning and purpose of the shadow work involved, and also we're doing a collective exercise in which I get you to dive deeply into yourself, and it's a good preparation for you to be able to receive these messages. So pause the reading here. If you haven't listened to it, go and listen to it. I'll wait, don't worry. And then return and listen to this reading. Okay, if you're back, then I just want you to know that I feel like in your reading, there is an underlying energy of pride. You were drawn to the lion for a very specific reason. The lion is quite loyal to its group. The lion is protective. The lion can also be quite lazy at times. And as you know, the lioness does most of the hunting, most of the caretaking. The lion is mostly there for the mating and the protection of the family group. I feel that part of the reason why there is this growing shadow in your life, and part of the reason why you clicked on this reading, why you're here, is that there are some issues related especially to your public personality, to your work area, to your career and professional path. If you were drawn to the lion, you could have planets in Leo. Maybe you have a sun in Leo, a moon in Leo, Venus, Mars, the North Node. In some cases, the ascendant, and in others, the midheaven. You're a person that's very popular, well liked by other people, creative, but you may encounter a creative block in your life at the moment, which may be bringing up certain issues with envy. The envy of the work of other people, an inner competitiveness with other people's outputs. Sometimes competitiveness can be good. It can push you to become better. But in other times it can be so damaging to your personality that it blocks you from doing any kind of work. It puts you in procrastination mode, and in that what's the point kind of energy. Okay, let's look at the cards right now. I have here your oracle cards and your tarot cards. Let's see. Good, so we have the first card, number 11. This is the card of harmony, balance, being in tune with others. You see how there is this musical instrument, so tuning yourself to the energies of other people around you. But there's also a warning with this card. It's an indication to not always make adjustments for the common good. You need to go solo, and I feel like you've been feeling this in your heart. At the moment, you're struggling to balance your yin and your yang polarities, your masculine with your feminine energies, your desire to act and your desire to receive. I feel like a solo performance is required for you to move forward and to overcome certain hang-ups in your shadow. You could be relying too much on the help of other people or looking too much at what other people are doing, comparing yourself to them unnecessarily. I also see here number 10, Firgun, become a loving mirror. So Firgun talks about the unconditional appreciation of others' happiness. You kind of need to be happy for other people's successes in order to move forward. You need to delight in the joy of others and congratulate them on their achievements. This is kind of like that energy of two sportsmen that are competing for the same cup, and one of them wins and the other one takes it like a champ, in the sense that it congratulates the opponent that has won for a very good game. So the important idea is not how amazing you are as a performer, because that puts you in your ego, but it's about who actually created the better work, who contributed to society in a more meaningful way. So Firgun is all about, as you can see, a mirror on your chest and pointing within rather than without. So not really focusing so much on the shortcomings of others or seeing yourself reflected in the applause and acclaim of other people, but going within and understanding, why am I doing what I'm doing? What is the inner motivation? Does it make me happy? Am I truly content with whatever it is that I'm doing? Am I putting my heart and soul into it? Because I feel like part of the shadow is this energy of doing things because you feel like you have to do them, rather than because your heart is fully into them. And this is why you may be stunted in your growth. Your growth is blocked by the fact that your ego is interfering, and fears are interfering with your capacity to do work from the heart, to create just because you feel the impulse, not for a specific financial or social acclaim goal. You know that when we create just for money, or when we create just because we want to get some award or a specific material reward, we tend to have a poorer quality creation than when we create just because we feel like it, just because we feel inspired, or because we feel like this is going to move people because it's moving me. Now we have card number 29, and we have here the energy of art. Okay, so already this talks about two things. First of all, the art of making a living, the art of making certain choices, and the know-how that you have in creating your everyday life. It's not about just living, it's about how you live, the things you do, the thoughts you have, the philosophy you embody in your life, which can be like an artistic creation. You can show yourself to the world in a way that is very creative. The way you style yourself, you decorate yourself, the opinions you have, the judgments of value you make, they all lead up to the creation of the artistry of your life. But for a more specific group of you who are drawn to this energy, this is about having an inherent talent. You're naturally gifted at something. The problem here is that either some people have been telling you how gifted you are, or no one has been telling you this. And in some case, you are kind of lazing around, procrastinating on your talent because people are giving you too much positive reinforcement. People may be looking at you and saying, oh, you're so good at this, you know, you're amazing, you don't have to put any work in it. But in reality, you actually have to. And you know it. It's part of the contents of your shadow. You will never get where you have to be to truly become that skilled artist you know you can be if you don't put in the work. As long as you have only a fantasy of what you're able to do, you're entertaining a delusion. You have to break the spell, break the delusion by putting in hard work. Another thing is that other people around you have been bringing you down. They've been telling you you're not good at anything. You don't have any special skills or talents. You might as well just get a 9-to-5 because you're not going to make money out of being a performer, an artist, or a talented musician, a writer, a painter, an actor, a dancer. So you're on the other end, the other extreme, the extreme of having your personality and your skills stifled by the people around you. Keep in mind, I'm reading here for a large collective. It's not a specific reading. So I feel that if you identify with this group, you need to put in the work of overcoming the lies that other people have been telling you in order to control you. The lies that have been suppressing your expressivity. Express yourself, just like in the song by Madonna. Express yourself, stop holding back, stop putting yourself down. Fight against the opinions of other people, show them differently. If people tell you you can't, tell yourself, yeah, let me show you I can. So you need to challenge other people's opinions of you, and don't listen to other people. Have the courage to stand up. Okay, the next card that we have here. Medusa. Injustice. So as you guys know, Medusa is a very complicated mythical figure because for years she has been depicted as the bad guy. But in reality, when you look back at her story, she's a victim of SA. She was famously attacked by Poseidon, who saw her as this beautiful, gorgeous woman, but did not want to grant her the respect that she deserved. She was a creature with incredibly gorgeous hair and fair skin, a ravishing beauty. Every man wanted her, every man wanted to marry her, women were envious of her. Unfortunately, she caught the attention of Poseidon, the god of the sea, who essayed her in the temple of Athena. And Athena actually added insult to injury, not by defending her or protecting her, but by cursing her. Because she felt that the act happened in her temple, it desecrated her honor, and she cursed Medusa. Instead of actually picking a bone with the attacker, Poseidon, and blaming him of the act he had done, Athena blamed the victim. And Medusa was cursed. Her beautiful hair was transformed into serpents. And apparently, she was also cursed with the fact that she was not able to look other people in the eye anymore. So whenever she would look somebody in the eye, she would instantly petrify them. The story goes that she retreated someplace on an island, and in the end, the hero Perseus killed her. And oftentimes in sculptures or in paintings, especially those during the Renaissance time or Gothic Baroque art, she is depicted as this cruel monster, and Perseus is depicted as this patriarch or hero, when in reality, he just destroyed a broken woman. A woman that was already dealing with the consequences of trauma and with being cursed and shunned by society due to what has been done to her. So this talks about you having the right to defend yourself against criticism, you needing to stand up to people who may put you down and tell you you're not good enough to be something. People that may tell you you can't be both, you can't be talented and beautiful and intelligent. You know, you can't be all of these things. You either have to be one or the other. You have to fight against these perceptions, but most importantly, it's how should I say? I don't want to repeat myself and say most importantly, it's important. What needs to fall deeply within your consciousness is the idea that as long as you entertain a negative perception of yourself, you will keep attracting people that will continue to criticize you. As long as you live in fear, and as long as you don't heal your heart, as long as you don't see the circumstances of your life for what they really are, as long as you entertain an illusion of what is actually going on in your life, you'll forever be cast in this part of a shadow player. It could be that in your life something happened to you physically. Maybe you may have been abused. There could have been SA in your own history as well, much like it happened to Medusa. And it's dragging your self-worth down. You need to go back to the cause root of what is creating this fear inside of you. It could be a lingering PTSD symptom that is affecting with your capacity to live creatively. Your sacral chakra could be underactive or overactive to compensate. And this is leading to a lot of mistrust in yourself, in your own creative capacities, and in other people that could help you out, that could help you improve your skills and harness your creative energy so you do become the successful artist. So look at the cause. You have to understand that you are dangerous to yourself on some level, because we see here that Medusa is the dangerous aspect of the deep, dark, and dangerous oracle card. Now, we also have here sacrifice. And we see here an image that kind of reminds of Joan of Arc. A lot of very strong feminine energies are coming through, but energies that are wearing a costume, pretending to be somebody else. You could have a natural talent for acting, for putting yourself in the shoes of other people and bringing the stories up to life. We see here the jester costume. We see here the mirror on the chest, Medusa's head. We also see here this maiden that is basically clad in this very strong battle costume, a defense, a shield, a protective metal gear. So number 7, sacrifice. Well, this talks about accepting the duty that you have been given. Your creative talent is a duty. It's part of how you are going to live up to your responsibility in this lifetime and make a better destiny for yourself. It's your dharma, which shows what you are walking towards, what you're growing as a soul in this incarnation. Very different from karma, which is the consequence of your past actions. You need to accept your duty and find freedom in this release. In addition, you need to understand that sometimes difficulties just happen in life, and you need to accept them for that and move forward. Not by shielding yourself against the world and retreating, but by rolling with the punches and surviving this energy, coming up stronger, and then putting that experience in your art. This will help you move mountains. This will help you attract love. It will help other people empathize with your plight as well. Whereas if you retreat, whereas if you just spend a lot of time in your den, licking your wounded pride like a lion, it's going to be very difficult for people to understand where you're coming from. People may just see you as aloof and as not wanting to engage with them, when in reality, engaging with them is your heart's deepest desires, being seen, being loved, being admired, being applauded. So be brave enough to tell your heart story. No matter what you've been through, you are not a victim. You can always come back to the hero's journey or the heroine's journey and flip the script on its head. Yes, this happened to me. Yes, I had to go through hell, but I came surviving at the other side. Here is how I have done it. Here is how I survived this. Here is how I managed to thrive. Now your tarot cards are the following. So we have here, I'm going to have to cover her up. This is the World, and she's in a reverse with a big heart on her chest, much like I feel the cards are encouraging you to wear your heart on your sleeve more. We have the Three of Wands blocked. We have the Eight of Cups blocked. We have the Five of Cups. And we also have the High Priestess blocked. Okay, there is a journey here that is taking you from a delayed triumph and success, a sense of denial, to deceit, duplicity, secrets. But what these cards are talking about deeply is about you actually not being aware of your untapped potential. The High Priestess block could talk about this wealth of creativity inside of you that you're repressing. It is Piscean energy. And it talks about having a direct link to the divine, allowing the divine to inspire you, getting downloads out of the blue, not knowing exactly where do these ideas come from, but also reveling in the act that it doesn't matter where they come from. The important thing is that you put them into action, you give them form, you materialize them, and then you share them with the world and see what happens. You could contribute to culture, you could contribute to the artistic heritage of the collective. But you have to start putting in the work. Nothing will happen if you don't work, if you don't trust the impulse that comes all over you. Obviously, not all of your ideas are going to materialize into something that people will enjoy. You may be criticized for some of the artistic projects you put out into the world. But be brave enough, like a soldier, like a warrior of light. Be brave enough to put something out there in the world. And if people criticize them, learn from that experience. Do better next time. Tap into what the collective may want. Read the room, as they say. But in your case, it's more of a case of reading the whole collective, understanding trends, understanding things even before they happen. And in order for you to do this, you have to be connected to a higher spiritual power. In order to have this humble, modest approach that you are working in connection to a higher power, you need to let go of the ego, the lion, and its shadow. The conscious idea of what you're good at, and the pride, the hubris that you are the best at everything and everyone else should be beneath you. When in reality, you become the best by working with other people, by collaborating, by allowing them to help you, by giving you feedback. I see here as well with the Three of Wands that you were brought to a point in which you're not growing at the moment as much as you want to, because there were some mistakes that were made through your carelessness. There was an oversight, or you were acting too quickly in your work. You have to check the details of any project, of any endeavor, before submitting your work. So again, we come back to this idea of putting in the effort of making sure that a creation is finished before you launch it. Because maybe some of the criticism you came up against is not related to the fact that your talent is lacking. You have talent in spades. I need to reassure you of this. You are a highly creative being. but it's about the way you put this creativity into the world that is connected to your shadow aspect. Try not to see every person in your life that is doing the same thing as you as a competitor. See them as a potential collaborator as well. Try to check details before you submit a piece of work, a written chapter, some research, your dissertation, your script, your book, whatever it is that you're working on. Also, think deeply about what you are saying when you're building a connection to somebody. Check the facts before you launch accusations in a love connection. And make sure that when you retaliate to your relatives, your close loved ones, you actually are very clear on what you want to say. You're not just lashing out on them. Because as I said, this is about your work, your artistic creative output in the world, but it's also about how you create your life, the artistry of living a successful life. I also see here with the Eight of Cups, a need to abandon the spiritual path for the material. You may have compromised in the past, you may have sold out. And this is leading you to a feeling of drifting, feeling aimless, lacking purpose. You're yearning for home, for stability. And it's interesting because these two cards are very linked. The Eight of Cups with the Five of Cups. They do talk about walking away from something painful. But the Five of Cups appeared upright, which talks about a sense of actually returning to the root of the problem. You are overwhelmed by loss and regret, by having made a decision that blocked your future path, your chances of growth, and you distance yourself from others in order to heal your heart. But I also think this situation of distancing is helping you see some of the flaws in your design. And it's a good thing, because this can lead to your resurrection. This can lead to you finally accepting, look, this is where I effed up. This is how I want to correct the situation. This is how I want to mend my broken bridges with other people. And I want to get back into the game. I want to actually create better work. I want to improve my artistry. I want to ask for help from other people because I can be trained. I will overcome this procrastination. I am teachable. Does that make sense? This is the shadow reading that I had for you, group 4. I really hope this helped. It's been a pleasure for me to create this reading. Please comment below, share your thoughts, but I would also like you to take anything that you found a little bit triggering or anything you would like to kind of write more extensively about, add it into your diary. Create a diary entry, write your thoughts down, put them on paper, put it in a Microsoft Word Office document, wherever you want to express yourself, but put your thoughts on paper. Use this shadow work reading as the beginning of a journey of self-exploration and healing. That was the intent with which I created it. So thank you so much for listening. See you in my next one. Bye. Hey group 5, welcome to your shadow work reading. So in this pick a card, we're going to look at the less savory aspects of your life, where you are encountering stumbles and blocks and things you may not be aware of, but things that are draining your energy and vitality. So much like I suggested for all of the other options, I would like you to go back and listen to the introduction of this clip if you happen to skip over it and you just went straight to your pile. It's important to listen to the introduction because I describe why I am using these Montessori cards, what is the whole purpose of this shadow work, and I'm doing a collective reading of attuning yourself by diving deeper into your own inner chambers. So I think that those things may help you and they will balance very beautifully the message you will hear from this reading. Feel free to pause the video here. Go ahead, I'll wait. And if you came back, then welcome. This is for those of you that were drawn to the bee. And as you can see here, we have the bee itself. It knows what it's doing. It has a very clear identity, but we also have the bee's shadow. So this darkness that keeps following the bee around, something that the bee is not aware of, but it's affecting its life. So that's you. I feel here that you may be an earth sign, Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn, or have those energies very strongly prominent in your chart, your ascendant, maybe your midheaven, maybe your north node. You are a hard worker, or you're learning how to work hard in collaboration with other people. I feel that oftentimes your efforts may not yield results and you get frustrated. I feel that there could be a tendency towards trying to achieve your material goals come hell or high water. You may do certain things that are quite sneaky or duplicitous or actually not really legal in order to get ahead and kind of like in a struggle to compete with other people. And you may not even be aware that you're doing this because that's the content of your shadow. Things that take over you and make you kind of do certain things that once you become aware of them, you're like, oh my God, why did I act it like this? Or why did I say that? So that's the force of the unconscious energy, which we are trying to unpack in this reading today. Okay, let me show you the cards. Okay, we have number 47. That's a beautiful card. It talks about healing, caring friendships, including more tender, loving care in your personal connections. It may be that you have been going through a lot of drama in relation to the people that are meant to support you. It could be that your friends, your coworkers, your collaborators are people that have been turning against you and you're wondering, why is this happening? It could be that you're approaching a situation in your professional path with too much of a heavy hand. You have to be mindful of how much you are giving and receiving in the healing energy of love. You may be too focused on material rewards and too little focused on the emotional aspects of your connections. Number 32, tangibility, make your dreams real. Okay. So I feel that this is a card. It has two meanings because you see the dove over here. So Spirit is communicating to you through animals. You are able to learn the most important lessons from animals, from birds, by observing the natural world. I feel that inside of you there is a force that is making you act against what is natural. You may push yourself too strongly. You may try to get ahead at all costs. You may sacrifice your body and your physical needs in order to reach some sort of wealth status, in order to become somebody important. For example, you could work extensive long hours in the hope of becoming a millionaire one day, but you're not actually taking good care of your body. You're compromising your health, or you're not eating properly. You're only taking supplements or vitamins to keep yourself going. So there is something here about understanding your relation to how you create material objects, understanding why you are seeking stability and material wealth to such an extent that it could end up hurting you. And it's also about understanding that in order for you to truly tap into material successes or live the wealthy life you want to live, you have to come down from the clouds, because you see this woman is caught up in the clouds. You have to come down firmly with your feet on the ground. Find a way to ground yourself, and animals and the natural world can help you in this endeavor. It's all about getting more in touch with your instinct, and it's all about yearning for some sort of communion, connection with the world around you, especially if you're trying to build something stable. Okay, we have card number 24. And this shows the flux, the natural flow of things, the cyclical nature of life. We go through seasons when we plant a lot of seeds, we make a lot of intentions, we begin a lot of things, we meet new people, we start off a lot of things. And then we go through seasons in which we have to maintain them. We have to do the work at continuously upholding what we have created. And in other seasons, we destroy. In other seasons, things are taken away from us. Much like autumn and winter, some things have to die in our life to make space for something new. Some creations we have started up in the past, some projects we build may not have been built on the best foundations, so they need to be taken down in order to be reconstructed. Now, I feel that in your everyday actions, you could struggle a little bit to make decisions. I feel that you need to understand that to a certain extent, the real world around you is a reflection of the relationship you have to yourself. And you need to understand also that every action, every good, kind action, every crime, or every moment when you take advantage of someone or someone takes advantage of you, These are all in a continuous flow of reaping rewards and being in some way put to the side and delayed and blocked, so that you are learning some important lessons about ego development and about overstretching for some things. Now, it's important for you to understand that what goes around comes around. So you have to be mindful of the fact that, let's say you do something and the justice system in reality doesn't catch you, and you think, haha, I got away with that, nobody knows. But somebody does know. And there is this universal law of balance and equilibrium, which is going to knock on your door at some point and ask you to pay back what you have taken. So understanding this energy, understanding that there is divine equilibrium in the world. When we become too egotistical, when we think that we are the ultimate creators and we become hubristic, Spirit, God, the divine, the universe, gives us a collective catastrophe to humble us. When we become too modest, too self-effacing, when we don't see our light, then Spirit, the divine, the universe, orchestrates a string of events that brings us back up to light, raises up to the level of understanding. You have a divine glow inside of you. You are part of the Creator. Work as one, be as one, exist as one in your reality. So there is this karmic law of balance. There is this universal equilibrium that is created in our relationships and in our connection with the natural world. Whatever we take, we must give back. Whatever is given to us is also something that at some point we will have to give back. Now, I see here, okay, card number 19, Parasite. So, as you can imagine, in order for a parasite to exist, there also needs to be a host, somebody willing to allow themselves to be drained of energy. If you have a look in nature, how parasites exist on trees or on other shrubs, a plant needs to give its life force in order for another plant, another entity to encircle it and draw life force from it. The parasite talks about a deep desire or need inside of you to bring yourself down, to self-sabotage your success. Sometimes you lack self-efficiency. You lack a feeling of what's my purpose? What am I supposed to do? I don't know. So you cling to someone else's purpose. You match your purpose to somebody else's, and it becomes like the boundaries of that partnership tend to be intermingled. So you have to understand that if you have the belief that you can't survive alone, you will constantly seek partners on which to attach your energy to. But when you do that, you create a codependent dynamic, which will wither away your energy and the energy of your counterpart. That's the parasite. Maybe you should watch the movie Parasite as well. Maybe it may help in getting you to understand this social relationships, the codependency, the rank hierarchies in societies, and how some people often contribute to their own issues in life. It's not that they're necessarily just mere victims of circumstance. Now, we see here, wow, the fetch. So this is the dangerous aspect from the deep, dark, and dangerous energy. The fetch was considered to be an Irish folktale, a myth. It usually took the form of a surrounding force. It was represented by a woman that appeared at a crossroads. If she appeared to you at a certain point in the day, she could predict your death, or she would let you know that you would die by the end of the day. Or if she appeared to you at another point in the day, she would actually bring you good luck. So it's all about when you see the fetch, when the fetch materializes in your environment. And it's a meeting with a force of destiny, basically. And depending on the actions you have taken, depending on whether you prioritize your heart, your emotions, your kindness, your compassion, or whether you prioritize using others or gaining something by kind of pushing ahead without being sensitive to other people's life stories, without respecting them, I feel that a meeting with the fetch is going to show you whether you will self-destruct or whether you will pass the green light and go ahead further. You will be helped in your desire to achieve something. You have to look at the intentions behind your actions in order to avoid the dangerous aspect of the fetch. Are you working? Are you creating for the sole reason that you want some sort of material wealth? For the sole reason that you want something that is illusory, like fame and fortune? Or are you working and creating because you genuinely enjoy yourself, enjoy your life, you love people, you want to contribute to society, you want to help? It's important to look at the reasons behind the kind of work you are doing. You see the fetch is holding up a mirror, and it's showing these two feminine forces. One is looking straight at you, the other one is looking away. Confronting this inner darkness is part of your shadow aspect. You could think of yourself as such a hard worker, as a person that puts in so much effort in every day, and yet you feel somehow shortchanged by life. You may be feeling like, I put so much work and effort and nothing is happening. Why can't I just reach that level of wealth and fame that society tells me I can achieve? Let's see what the tarot cards have to say. Again, the hardworking energy, yeah? We see here the hard worker. We see the card of aspiration, apprenticeship, natural gifts in a craft. There is a feeling here of perfectionism, though. On some level, you are right on track, but you have to be careful about allowing your tendency to want to create something that is perfect and unique and one of a kind and mind-blowing. You have to be careful with that. You know the old saying, done is better than perfect. Part of the reason why you may not be coming into this wealth is because you spend too much time working on something, trying to make it perfect, when in reality nothing can be perfect. It's not created by God, so it won't be perfect. It's created by your human mind. So you have to learn to release your work and to let go of this perfectionism. You have to allow something to just exist. Create and release, create and release. So it's a different advice than what I advised group 4, where they had to pay more closer attention to details. You're paying too closer attention to details to the point where it blocks you from actually releasing your work into the collective. You're delaying your success. You're standing on the path of your self-fulfillment. And I could hear my neighbor sneezing. So there is blessing. There is a blessing coming into your life, but you may be blocking it by wanting to control the outcome too much. Yeah. The Empress blocked. We see here Venus. We see Taurus energy. Earthiness as well. So I feel that here you are advised that your efforts in creation are not yielding the results that you want. There is a sense of emptiness in the work that you're doing. But it's your actions that are preventing you from enjoying the fruits of your labor. It's your actions that are actually blocking you from fruition, from truly enjoying your wealth. So I'm going to unblock the Empress for you. There you go. God bless, so may it be. You're putting a spanner in your own works by being too fickle with the details, by messing too much with it. You want to give something and then you're like, no, pull it back from production. Don't release yet. I still need to tinker with it. Stop tinkering it. Stop tinkering with it. Release it. Allow the collective to give its input. Allow the collective to take what you are producing and make it their own, because they will anyway. You can't control that. So to a large extent, I feel like a deep desire to control what's going to happen to your work is actually blocking you from releasing your work and enjoying your wealth. Enjoying the wealth you could create. Now, also, holding off too strongly on releasing something may make you vulnerable to other people stealing your ideas. And it could be that some friendships have betrayed you. Some people have stolen your ideas. You may have been engaged in some sort of legal battles with them. Copyright issues. And this is why you need to heal these caring friendships, because competitiveness has been too strong. And you need to find a way to work together with other people to move forward before you self-destruct. We have here the 9 of Cups. This is good. This is an indication that you will actually reap the benefits of your work, that there is a chance here for a wish of yours to come true. But you have to be careful about the fact that you're looking towards the achievement of a material wish, which you are trying to transform into a spiritual gift. So in reality, you're seeking something material, but you're trying to make it seem like, no, it's a spiritual blessing. So this card warns against materialism. Inside of your shadow lies this deep desire for fame and fortune, but you're making it come across as spiritual growth. You have to admit to yourself that you have an inherent need for comfort, for luxury. And you also have to admit to yourself that oftentimes it's not other people who are blocking your path towards achieving that lifestyle. It's you. It's you procrastinating. It's you fighting with people that could help you achieve wealth. It's you cutting your connection with something stable because you get into a mode of wishful thinking. You feel like you imagine how your life would like to be and you stay caught up in the fantasy rather than working heavily to build the building blocks in reality that could support that wealth. At the root of a problem is a difficult connection to your mother figure. In astrology, Liz Green and Howard Sasportas believe that the 10th house, the midheaven, the professional house, the one that shows what we shine at in the world, our legacy in front of other people, is ruled by the relationship that you had with your mother. If you have a difficult connection with your mother, you may achieve wealth and fortune and squander it. You may achieve awards and a lot of fans, and at the same time you may start arguing with them, thereby cutting that source of fortune, thereby pulling the rug from underneath your feet. At the root of your lack of success lies certain unconscious actions from your relationship to a mother figure. You could codependently try to attach to the people you work with, your collaborators, your fans, your followers, your clients, much like you tried to do with your mother figure. And if there is any weirdness coming up between you and the people you work with, it's the same kind of vibration and energy that tends to come up from your difficult relation to your mother figure. And difficulties could be presented here in a variety of ways, but I'm here to let you know that at the root cause of self-sabotage lies this connection with the mother figure, the Empress. Now, we also have here the Five of Swords and the Knight of Wands. So let me just move the cards a little bit so you see them. Yes, so the Five of Swords, again, it talks about a cunning energy, a sense of wanting to profit, a Machiavellian understanding of your relationships. I want to go ahead and I'm willing to do anything to get there. I want success so badly it hurts. But at the same time, you feel spiteful because you may be feeling less privileged than other people, so thereby you put yourself in the position of an outcast, seeing as you against the world. You're engaging with this dynamic. You feel like the only way you can get ahead is by getting an unfair advantage over your opponents, over your competition, what you perceive to be the world standing against you. So in this struggle to try to reach the top, feeling yourself as an outcast, feeling yourself as less privileged than other people, when in reality you are not at all. You are as talented as other people. I think even more so, because Venus here is giving you a lot of talent. But you shortchange yourself. You put yourself in this kind of struggle with other people. You act aggressively sometimes, a little bit hot-headed and competitive. And it's kind of like you thrive on challenges. You thrive on stirring conflict, on seeing the other person as your opponent immediately from the first moment that you meet them, instead of actually giving them a chance and seeing them as a friend, as a collaborator, as a kindred spirit that can help you enhance your skill set, that can help you attain new connections, that can help you grow. So it's very important for you to adopt a more peaceful approach. You may have a South Node in Aries, for example, and you need to really flex your North Node in Libra, which is a lot about understanding other people, compromising, reaching mutual wins rather than I'm going to win at your expense because I feel you're more privileged than me and I'm going to take you down because there needs to be justice. Really assess the reason behind your actions, the motivations behind the work you are doing, because that's going to help you confront your shadow aspect. And when you produce, make sure that you also release it into the collective. And I'm really sorry, but I'm feeling like a deep pang of hunger in your reading. I'm going to go and have my breakfast in a second. But again, there is this hunger inside of you to get ahead, to reach the top, to have a 6 or 7 figure job, to be successful, to live in luxury, to show the world that you've made it. But just be careful how you get to the top, because if you get to the top in a Machiavellian way, by crushing over other people's dreams, when you reach the top, it will not only be increasingly lonely, but you will only reach the top for a very short while. The collective will bring you down eventually, because the karma is going to catch up with you. So again, avoid that by confronting your shadow. Avoid that by looking into these tendencies. And you're going to actually make it to the other side with a lot of light and a lot of love. Now, I'm going to go and have my breakfast. Thank you so much for listening. I really hope that this reading is helpful. I hope that it's triggering some deep inner work. I hope that you're able to take whatever you heard in this reading and write it down in a diary. Continue this inner work. This is just the beginning. Take wonderful care of your beautiful heart in the meantime, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye. Hi, Group 6. Welcome to your shadow work reading. So this is for those of you who are drawn to the giraffe and its shadow. I would like you to go ahead and listen to the introduction if you happen to skip over it. It's important because I describe why I'm using these Montessori cards, what's the purpose of the shadow work reading, and I'm doing a collective exercise in which I hope you get in touch with your inner self. So I think that you'll benefit from listening and practicing some of the things I mentioned in the introduction before you actually listen to this reading and integrate some of the messages that are coming through. So go ahead, I'll wait here, pause the video, listen to the introduction and come back here. Okay, if you are back, welcome. Let's find out what is lying hidden in your shadow. I feel that I'm hearing unique snowflake. I'm hearing that maybe some people may have called you that. Some people may have a bone to pick with your ideology, with the way in which you express yourself and style yourself, and you've always taken it as a badge of honor. You may have always protected yourself, been on the defensive and said, I know who I am, and no matter what you say, you know, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words would never kill me. Something of that nature. I fear that you're a person that's very charming, very tender, very kind, or at least you identify with this energy of yourself, and you may block a lot of the aggressiveness in your shadow. Let's see what the cards have to say. So, we begin first with card number 10. Okay, so this is the card of knowledge, research, knowing facts, preparation, and being in some way forewarned. I feel that this card in your deck is talking about learning how not to rely so much on the knowledge of other people, because I feel like you're looking always for facts, factual information to defend yourself, to retaliate. You go and you scour through materials and you look at the legal implications. You look at the details because you know that the devil hides in the details, and you're able to defend yourself with the knowledge that you are gathering. Knowledge is power in your eyes. But this is mostly an indication that you must start producing your own knowledge and not rely so much on the knowledge of other people. I feel that you have a certain life path, a certain destiny in which you energetically need to align with the contents of your own experience, of your own studies this far, and not rely so much on the knowledge that came before you. Because as you know, knowledge kind of has, in certain cases, an expiration date. It tends to be replaced by new ideas and new experiences. It moves from generation to generation as our consciousness develops and expands. So I feel in certain cases, you hold on to certain rules that may have been antiquated. You hold on to certain facts that are already overwhelmed by new facts that are coming in. And it's important for you to find the courage and the confidence to build your own knowledge. I feel like this card is also saying you're relying too much on your intellect and not so much on your heart. And speaking of heart, we have here the card number 22, Orenda. honor your mystical creative force. If you feel like you're blocked in your life at the moment, in order for you to move forward, you must make a sacrifice. And this sacrifice is related to a part of yourself that you need to vanquish, overcome, let go of. You've identified too strongly with your mind, and your mind is blocking you. It's kind of like you reached a limit, a wall. You cannot go further if you don't go deeply into your heart, if you don't harness your creative power, if you don't become a little bit more instinctual, and if you don't allow the animal to come out of you. You're too much on this peaceful, harmonious, people-pleasing, rational pedestal. You have to come down in it and get into the muck and the mire of life. And it could be something that will take you off balance for a while. But in order to be truly balanced and truly integrated as a human being, you have to allow for the existence of the rational being together with the animal inside of you. Because you're moving too much into one direction, and you're running the risk of being seen by other people as an extremist. You're running the risk in which you may be disgusted by aggressive extremist people, and you will end up becoming one. That thing that you repel or you feel repelled by is that very thing that you will end up becoming if you don't manage to understand what is the source of that repelling energy. So I see here, and also my cat decided to drink water during your reading. Sorry if you hear it on the background. But again, she's drinking water. So water is about emotions. It's about hydration. It's about flexibility, becoming supple, maintaining yourself in a way in which you can become adaptable rather than firmly caught up in self-righteous ideas. You may have a North Node in Gemini and a South Node in Sagittarius. You may struggle to listen to other people's opinions. You may think that your opinion is the correct one because it comes from direct experience in certain cases or from knowledge learned in a book. You may have a South Node in Libra, North Node in Aries as well. So there is this vibration of feeling like you know the truth, and the truth is unshakable, that reason prevails over everything, and that in some way you have to control yourself, and other people need to learn how to control themselves. But in reality, you could do well by loosening up a little bit. We have here number 2, the masculine, creative power. So this card is saying that at the moment, your abilities are reaching an all-time high. You are reaching peak performance. But you need to focus better on how you are putting out outcomes, on how you are creating work, on how you are giving your services to the collective. You need help. You are not aware of the fact that you may benefit from another person's opinion. What lies in your shadow is the need for you to ask other people for help. You may see this as a weakness. You may not trust other people. You may only rely on your opinion, and you know that your opinion is strong because you are a careful analyst of the situation. However, in this case, I feel like a man is able to help you because we're dealing here with the masculine principle, the creative force that stems out of the darkness, of the void in the Santa Muerte oracle. So I feel that in order to enhance your power, you have to dive into your emotions. Your emotions will unblock your creativity and will help you collaborate with other people. By establishing partnerships with other people and not feeling threatened by another person's opinion, but rather opening your mind to a different viewpoint than yours, you're going to overwhelm and defeat your shadow. You're going to integrate it as part of yourself, and it will cease to control your life and mess with your personal connections. It will also bring you more happiness, because as rational, intelligent, analytical, and controlled you are, I don't see here a person that's enjoying life too much. The masculine principle is about taking action. It's about putting what you think in a set of movements that can lead you towards kind of like the path of working with your energy. I'm sorry if this sounds a bit too complicated. I'm trying to put it into words as simply as I can so that it's not too out there. So movement, moving with your thoughts, adaptability, flexibility, both in speech and in thought. The masculine principle is all about moving these energies in your body. not becoming too stuck into a certain belief, because it could lead to extremism. And this extremism could lead to addiction. We have here the addicted card, number 11. So be careful of what you're manifesting, because you could be feeling like you're on a high horse at the moment, preaching to the public. But in reality, you may have certain self-defeating behaviors that suddenly spring up on you. You could feel compelled to do something. You could obsessively do an activity and you don't know why. Why am I washing my hands 7 times a day? I'm a rational human being. What's going on? I don't understand. Why am I constantly checking my phone every 5 seconds? What's wrong with me? What am I waiting for? Why do I feel the need to be plugged into something that enslaves me, rather than I learning how to enslave it myself, rather than I becoming the slave master rather than the slave? So you have to be mindful of the fact that on some level you struggle to handle your freedom. Too much freedom makes you feel icky. It makes you anxious. It makes you prone to fits of panic. You have to find the balance between being controlled and allowing yourself to be more free. Expression and containment. Because if you block one of these elements in your life, if you control yourself too rigidly, you are going to start to make these weird, shaky, jerky movements that are showing you that a part of you wants to be free. It wants to escape this rigid control you are putting your whole body, your whole feelings through. The addicted card is about choosing something that frees you in order to heal the addiction. It's an interesting thing, but you could do something called the remembering exercise, where, for example, let's say at a point in your life, you were very prim and proper, everything was going well. All of a sudden you stumbled in life. Something happened, an emotional problem, and you dealt with it by resorting to a coping mechanism. And that coping mechanism developed into an addiction. Remember yourself how you were before all of this happened, before the trauma happened, before the breakdown happened, before you started falling into the addiction. Imagine yourself, visualize yourself how you were in the past, without a sense of sadness, but with a genuine desire to go back to that place in time. This remembering of yourself, of a past self that was healthy, can help you let go of the addiction in the present. But it's an exercise that requires adaptability and it requires flexibility. So again, we're coming back to how you can solve the tension inherent in your shadow, and that is by opening up your mind, relaxing the mind, relaxing the muscle, unclenching your fists. You are afraid of losing what you have, so you may struggle to own things. You may rely too much on other people's knowledge because you are afraid that if you create your own, other people may take it away. Create it anyway. Because the negative outcome you predict will happen may not happen. There is a probability, but not a certainty. So what you need to sacrifice is the blocks of the ego, the control, the judgments of value that you attached to your persona and to how other people relate to you, your ideas, and your work. We also have here Cerberus. This is the 3-headed dog, the monster that guides, or guards, better said, the gates of Pluto, Hades, the gates of the underworld. So a guardian, a protector, the threshold. In Rudolf Steiner's works, it's said that when you are ready for the next development on your spiritual path, you meet with the guardian of the threshold. This is a Saturn moment. It is led by the god of time and limit. It's a testing time. But if you manage to overcome the tests, you are able to cross into the other side. You are able to cross the threshold and you reach a deeper level of spiritual development and awareness. Allow yourself to learn from other people. That's the only way you're going to move forward. Try to let go of the idea that you may know everything and you are right and you're looking for people to agree with you being right all the time. This is stunting your growth. It's leading you to cycles of compulsion, obsession, and addiction. Free yourself, free your mind. Break through with the power of this creative life force, the masculine principle. Break through, move, create movement in your life, and sacrifice the desire to be the know-it-all in the room. Because your opinion is as valid as another person's opinion. And while you may be so attached to the idea of an absolute truth, there may not be such a thing. It could potentially be that reality is created out of many different truths. Because truth, on some level, may be subjective. You have to allow yourself these exploratory thoughts. You may have been brought up in a family in which there was a very firm political or religious belief, and everybody in your family had to submit to it. This is received knowledge, it's not your own. You can let it go. You can change your mind and change your destiny. This is the root of your shadow. So let's see. What are your tarot cards? 9 of Pentacles. Queen of Swords, exactly. Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius, highly intelligent, highly defensive. Queen of Wands, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, creative, confident, shamanic. Page of Cups, water sign energy, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. And we have the 6 of Pentacles. Yeah, so I see first of all that this is the card of prosperity, refinement, independence, material stability, but also the solitary enjoyment. So you could be actually quite stable, wealthy financially, but you're enjoying the fruits of your labor on your own. There may not be anybody to share them with. And why is that? Well, because I feel that in your shadow, there is this very strong Queen of Swords energy. You may be a very friendly person outwardly, but in reality, when you connect with somebody, that person sees your shadow, and in your shadow, you hold these judgments of value. People could perceive you as being very defensive and judgmental, like you don't allow space for another person's opinion to come through. As a consequence, I feel like you also could be strongly attracted towards another strong, independent woman, or strong, independent women in general, that are very confident and very warm, but you may also envy them for that, envy them for their power. So there is a clash here, there is a competitiveness between Goddess Athena, or the principle of the Goddess Athena, and Goddess Artemis, or the principle of the Goddess Artemis. Independence, freedom, and envying another person's independence and freedom of expression, because you're not allowing yourself to have this freedom of expression. You could envy women who travel, who are technological nomads, without understanding that you too can free yourself, that you too can make choices in which you can become that which you envy and admire at the same time. So look at the competitiveness in your life. Who are you setting yourself up in competition with? And is that person that you see as an opponent carrying some of the characteristics you would like to have in your life, but you're blocking yourself from living? Because I feel like this reasonable approach that you adopt in your life is blocking a lot of these emotions in your shadow, and your shadow is growing stronger by the day, getting you to unfairly get into conflicts with other people that you otherwise admire, but for some reason you feel like fighting them at the same time, or at least fighting them verbally, having the moral upper hand on them, attacking them with facts and knowledge and numbers, and kind of deriding their freedom of expression. It could be that, for example, you may be very drawn to the world of the occult, but at the same time you reject it, you criticize it, you come with facts and try to break it down. You could wander in the spiritual community, admiring some of the people, especially some of the women that are doing such work, but at the same time you're like, no, this is ridiculous, this is, you could be taking it down, taking it apart in front of the public in some way. The Page of Cups talks here about unrealistic expectations, being an impractical visionary, It talks about an emotional instability that leads to indolence. Not being able to put your wonderful thoughts and your mind's work into something tangible because you're too caught up in those illusions, in the illusions of, well, I know the truth and other people are wrong, but if I take the step forward to actually put my ideas out there and try to convince the public, they will not get it. So why should I put my ideas out there? So you're just really big in your mind, not in reality. You're a wonderful theorician, but in your mind and not in a tangible form. For example, this talks about a person who keeps writing their research or keeps writing their book but never publishes it, and then resents other people who have published their work and may call them stupid or may lash out at them. When in reality, if you would have published your work, you would have been potentially even more adored or rewarded in some way by society like they are. But you just have to do that work of crossing over your fears of success, your fears of being criticized by other people, and you need to overcome this idea that you know best. Because this, in a way, this mental arrogance that exists in your shadow is blocking you from truly putting your ideas out there and being seen as the wonderful, intelligent person that you are at your core. Final card is the Six of Coins. Oh, I also wanted to say that the Page of Cups talks about the Don Quixote kind of energy, constantly chasing an ideal that doesn't exist in reality. So as you are trying to fact check other people, check your facts as well in the things that you're doing in your life to actually put your ideas forward. Make sure that you're working towards something tangible, pragmatic, and that you're not all about your mind. Because in the mind, anything is possible. But when you begin the process of materializing an idea, that's when you come to a deeply humbling process. So the Six of Coins is about being a charitable person, having everything that you need to benevolently give to other people. And this talks about accepting as well help from others. So if you're able to be generous with other people, help would be given to you. And your relationship to the world will be healed. It wouldn't be so fractured. It wouldn't be so challenged by everything around. So give in order to receive. Don't hold back. Don't keep everything inside. Let go of this control and of this competitiveness that is leading to envy and spite. Drop the defensive walls that are keeping you from truly making friendships with other people and just participate in everything with others. Learn from them. Listen to their opinions even if you don't agree with them. It's so important for you to learn to communicate adequately and to be honest with what you think and feel without insulting another person's intelligence, because your intelligence can coexist with other forms of intelligence. And that's the beauty of you facing your shadow. As you know, when two minds come together, beautiful things are born out of that. And a solitary mind can oftentimes be prone to insanity. So be mindful of that fact. Okay, I hope you have enjoyed this reading. This is the shadow work reading that I had for you. This is just the beginning. So if you felt any triggers or if you felt like you wanted to rant about a specific aspect from this reading, please put it down in a diary first. Feel free to comment as well, but I would really like you to open a diary entry and write about some of the things that you experienced while you were listening to this reading. It's the beginning of a process of self-knowledge, which I hope will help you reach alchemical gold inside of you. Thank you so much for listening. I cannot wait to see you in my next one. Take care of you until then. Bye, Group 6. Bye-bye.